features and characteristics on an imaginary place where we have some issues regarding waste management, and we would like to share with you these issues and try and see what are possible solutions, targets, and try to prioritize some of these issues and their solutions all together in 2 different rooms or 3 different rooms according to what the number of people. We will split the groups according to language, so there will be French-speaking groups and English-speaking groups. We will do it in a minute. So if you don't have the information, please let us know. As soon as we are in the rooms together, so we can share the information in some other way. So once we have, we will have 1 facilitator per room that will help to lead the discussion and will take some notes. And then after approximately 50 minutes, we will come back together to this main room so we can put conclusions and discussion in common, and we can share together what lessons we have learned, what are the main issues, again, solutions, targets, and how you have faced this case study. So I don't know, Gemma, if you want to start splitting us into the groups.
Okay, you want to explain the case directly in the groups or here?
I don't mind to read it if you want. I assume everybody has received that in an email, but this is called Macondo's Waste Management Plan, and it says in 2020 the city of Macondo has a waste management plan system, that was obsolete. There was little separate collection and material recovery, and littering started to be a problem both in the city and the ecosystem nearby, and street containers often overflowed. The city council needs to design a waste management plan to tackle the main challenges of the city regarding waste management in order to achieve the stabilization of the waste collection and treatment system and increasing, if possible, separate collection rates. So this imaginary city has 130,000 inhabitants. The urban shape has a historic center made up of narrow streets and local street markets, but also several suburbs, and they have arisen in recent years. The urban shape is therefore varied, including traditional architecture, buildings, and single-family homes. There is some agricultural activity nearby the city, along the private orchards within the city. Waste generation is about 40 kilotons per year and dominated by organic matter, which represents 53% of all waste generation, followed by plastic, metal, paper, and other types of waste, such as furniture, textiles, waste electronic equipment. Although there is some tourism, it does not quite affect waste generation during the summer season. Okay, so it's not quite a touristic city. Waste collection, there are street bins for mixed waste, and there is a pilot experience on plastic collection in several districts of the city, covering a small part of the city so far, and therefore overall local population is not familiar with separate collection. Also, there is a relevant number of informal waste pickers collecting plastic, metal, paper, cardboard, both directly from street bins and from households and the landfills and other dump sites. As for waste treatment, there is only one sanitary landfill that will be refurbished to admit further waste, but its full capacity will be reached in 3 or 4 years. Recently, some informal illegal dump sites around the city have arisen as well. And also there are some companies able to recycle some types of plastic and metal, whereas there is a paper company in a nearby city, like at 50 kilometers. Regarding finance and how to finance waste collection and treatment, waste collection is funded with the general budget of the city council. No waste collection charges are paid by citizens or economic activities. So far, there is no a national extended producer responsibility scheme for any material, but the national government is open to recommendations from the municipalities. So we ask the attendants today to identify the most important issues in Macondo, the possible solutions and targets, and a short plan prioritizing the actions to be carried out in the next 5 years so that waste collection and treatment systems are improved. So this is the context, this is the case study. You should have it in your mail. And now we will split the meeting into, I see 19 participants, so I guess it's going to be 2. Right, Emma?
I also put the case study in the chat so that people can see it directly. I think everyone can access it. Okay, so I'm going to make the breakout rooms. You will be directed there, and you have how many minutes? I don't remember. 45. Well,
50 minutes. If we are 2 groups, we can meet back at, I don't know, 3:10 past 3, something like this would be okay. Okay, I made the breakout rooms with the people that have already renamed themselves. So I'm going to ask the people who still did not add the language to the name to do so that I can, or tell me in the chat which group would they like, English or French. So I'm going to start the breakout rooms now. Okay. Jessie, can you?
I wrote a message to Jessie.
Okay. Okay. So which?
But in any case, Jessie, we are asking you to rename yourself, or at least to let us know which is your speaking language, so we can put you in one room or another one.
Is
it possible to send me the link to the French room, please?
Yeah, I should have put you. Let me check.
I've seen the English one, but
okay, yeah.
You send me to the French one, Gemma. Sorry.
You can jump yourself. I made you co-host.
Yeah. Okay. I see. You... Yes, I see the link. I will join. Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. À certains d'entre vous qui ont déjà pris la parole dans la session partagée pour donner un peu plus de détails sur certaines expériences que vous avez eues et que vous avez communiqué déjà au petit groupe, et pour que cette expérience soit aussi partagée avec les autres membres de cette session.
Maybe we can continue the discussion since we have interpretation. So just as a reminder, you can choose the interpretation in French or in English so that we can all understand each other. Thank you. So Sergio, I don't know if you want to continue.
Yes, are we back?
First?
Are we all in the main room ready?
We are all in the main room, I think. Oh wait,
okay.
Yeah, they are closed now, so we are all here.
Okay, well, now it's time to share the discussion. It's been short, but it's been intense, and several issues, solutions, and general thoughts about what this kind of management plan should look like. So I would start by offering the floor to the spokesperson from the French speaking group, who I don't know who is at the moment. Do you have a spokesperson?
That will be me.
Okay. So go ahead. So if you want to share your screen, if you have some notes or something.
I think that I will share the feedback from the main room and the main discussions that we had, and give the floor to also the participants in the group, so that we can have a kind of live and interactive discussion. And I would do it in French.
In French, huh? Yeah, that's what I
would do it in French, so that I'm also on the side of my team, and then they feel also more comfortable in taking the floor in French as well. Donc, pour le groupe que nous avons, dans lequel nous avons participé, nous avons réussi à couvrir une bonne partie des aspects qui sont liés à la gestion des déchets. On a eu des discussions vraiment très intéressantes avec des expériences qui concernaient notamment l'approche en matière de collecte, les coûts que ça pouvait impliquer, les différents acteurs qui sont nécessaires d'impliquer dans le processus. On a d'abord commencé par constater que le cas en fait avait été très bien choisi, puisqu'il était assez proche de la réalité de différentes municipalités, notamment au niveau des contextes locaux de la municipalité de Gabès, où on voyait de grandes similitudes en termes de quantité de déchets organiques produits, les problématiques en matière d'implication des citoyens et d'absence de collecte sélective pour l'instant, même si on avait il y a une expérience pilote qui est en train d'être préparée pour être mise en place d'ici l'année prochaine. Ce cas nous a permis de couvrir différents aspects, notamment le côté choix d'une collecte sélective, mettre l'accent sur l'importance de séparer les flux, compte tenu notamment de l'importance de la fraction organique, et également des coûts qui sont liés à l'obtention d'un matériau de qualité par la suite, suite à la collecte, sachant qu'on a eu des retours d'expérience comme quoi les déchets en mélange, même séparés par des installations de traitement mécanico-biologique, ne donnent pas un résultat suffisamment bon en termes de qualité pour être exploitable et être intéressant pour les utilisateurs futurs de ces matières. On a eu également des discussions sur le fait de devoir impliquer différents acteurs, notamment les collecteurs de déchets qui deviennent eux-mêmes revendeurs de ressources, avec un cas mentionné, une expérience qui avait été mentionnée en Égypte et qui était intéressante, sachant que les municipalités n'ont pas toujours la possibilité d'avoir des ressources financières qui vont leur permettre de mettre en place les collectes sélectives. C'est important d'impliquer dans un côté gouvernance les collecteurs de déchets et de faire en sorte qu'eux-mêmes, de par l'intérêt financier qu'ils vont trouver à la revente des matériaux, ils vont être vraiment encouragés à participer au processus. Le côté coût a été mentionné à différents moments de la session, notamment au niveau du coût d'investissement des installations, que ce soit au niveau des installations de traitement des fractions organiques, notamment également la possibilité de peut-être envisager des moyens à coût réduit pour broyer les déchets verts auprès des gros producteurs, donc peut-être avec une mutualisation et un partage des installations de broyage, avec des broyeurs qui seraient mis à disposition des producteurs de déchets verts. Également mentionné au niveau de cet aspect gouvernance et implication des producteurs, l'implication des citoyens, notamment par des campagnes de sensibilisation et peut-être aussi par l'utilisation de taxes locales. Donc ça, c'est quelque chose qui a été aussi mentionné. Un élément très central qui est revenu aussi du fait de cette responsabilisation et du fait de partager les coûts, c'était la notion de pollueur-payeur, avec comme point de justification des actions dans le plan d'action, d'avoir une implication non seulement des citoyens, mais aussi des producteurs et des industries pour notamment considérer des systèmes, par exemple, de consignes pour des produits qui pourraient être réutilisables et obliger les producteurs sur un territoire à employer ce type de solution. L'implication également du secteur informel a été mentionné pour soutenir les stratégies de collecte et de tri, avec notamment des exemples de chiffonniers qui avaient été regroupés en associations et pour lesquels il y avait un soutien et en termes d'accompagnement, de compétences et de mise à disposition matérielle, également sous forme de coopératives. Donc ça, c'était des cas qui avaient été développés à Gabès et à Tétouan, avec possiblement l'objectif de les intégrer et de formaliser un peu plus leur activité dans le cadre des installations de traitement des déchets, notamment les CET, qui pourraient être considérés comme le personnel actif sur les sites de traitement directement. Voilà, je couvre de façon très large. Jean-Benoît, est-ce que tu veux déjà prendre un peu la parole et compléter ce que j'ai mentionné?
Merci Philippe. Je pense que tu es revenu sur la plupart des points qu'on a abordés, mais peut-être que nos participants vont vouloir compléter. Je pense qu'il y a un point, je ne sais plus si tu l'as mentionné, et qui est intéressant, qui est revenu, c'est celui de la consigne, qui est un moyen aussi de responsabiliser les producteurs, de sortir un peu du paradigme du tout jetable, des emballages jetables, et de revenir à une consigne pour certains emballages, avec aussi l'avantage de produire un instrument incitatif pour la collecte auprès des consommateurs. Donc c'est un débat qu'on a aussi beaucoup en Europe, le retour de la consigne à réutilisation, et effectivement, je pense que c'est possiblement une piste intéressante. En dehors de ça, je pense que tu es revenu à peu près sur tous les points qu'on a abordés. Je pense que tu voulais donner aussi la parole à différents participants de notre groupe. Je suggère qu'on fasse cela avant de clore notre retour d'expérience.
Oui, peut-être sur le côté collecte sélective et séparation des flux. Peut-être que on pourrait avoir un petit retour d'expérience de la municipalité de Gabès, et puis après, sur le côté du secteur informel, peut-être également toujours la municipalité de Gabès et ensuite la municipalité de Tétouan. Donc, si vous voulez bien prendre la parole respectivement. Donc, au niveau de Gabès, il me semblait que c'était Monsieur Gnounou, si je ne me trompe pas.
Oui. Oui, oui, je suis avec vous. Oui. Bon, concernant notre expérience à Gabès, pour les chiffonniers, j'ai bien dit, on a commencé par essayer d'organiser ces chiffonniers dans des coopératives, mais quand même, l'expérience a été interrompue, elle était bloquée par le Covid. Donc, on va essayer de la rejoindre, de la recommencer après cette pandémie-là. Donc, aussi pour comment dirais-je, le tri sélectif, on pense, on veut bien commencer une expérience pilote ici à Gabès, mais on est en train de penser avant de commencer par le tri sélectif, on doit commencer par une campagne de sensibilisation et de communication avec les citoyens. Donc, pour le moment, on est en train de sélectionner quelles sont les associations et surtout les associations de la société civile qui peuvent nous aider et qui peuvent s'engager avec nous dans cette affaire. On est dans les premiers pas. Peut-être on est dans la phase de la pensée, de mettre le plan de cette campagne de sensibilisation, et on va entamer prochainement les procédures qui doivent être faites pour ces cas-là. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Gnounou, pour ce témoignage. Autre cas qui avait été mentionné, notamment pour le secteur informel, entre autres, nous venez de Tétouan, Monsieur Kasmi, si vous êtes en mesure de donner un petit retour d'expérience.
Oui, merci. Donc, nous, comme j'ai dit tout à l'heure, à la ville de Tétouan, on est en train de mettre en place un centre d'enfouissement et de valorisation des déchets qui va être opérationnel à partir du mois 6 2021, d'ici 3 mois. Donc, nous avons à peu près, qui ont été recensés, à peu près 80 chiffonniers qui travaillent à la décharge actuelle, y compris 3 femmes. Donc, bien sûr, nous, notre obligation envers notre bailleur de fonds, on a l'obligation d'insérer socialement toutes les chiffonniers qui travaillent actuellement à la décharge. Donc, on a vu que la meilleure chose, c'est que ces chiffonniers vont être déplacés vers la nouvelle CEV. Ils travaillent dans le centre de tri, comme des trieurs des déchets. Donc, j'ai dit qu'on a presque 500 tonnes par jour de déchets. Donc, ces 500 tonnes vont être triées par des chiffonniers actuels et qui vont travailler dans le cadre des coopératives. Maintenant, on a arrivé à 4 coopératives qui ont été déjà construites à l'échelle locale. Et ces coopératives, ils vont s'organiser entre eux pour exploiter le centre de tri. Donc, l'essentiel pour nous, c'est d'assurer le travail et le revenu à ces gens qui travaillent maintenant dans l'informel. Et deuxièmement, bien sûr, de retirer tout ce qui peut être valorisé des déchets qui vont être ensuite enterrés ou bien subir l'enfouissement dans les casiers. Donc, l'opération n'est pas encore démarrée. On va démarrer, comme j'ai dit, jusqu'au mois de juin 2021. Et j'espère qu'on n'aura pas beaucoup de problèmes parce que déjà, on a déjà 4 coopératives. Donc, on n'a pas pu les insérer dans une seule coopérative parce qu'eux ont déjà pris l'initiative pour mettre en place ces coopératives. Et aussi, il y aura des problèmes au niveau des revenus, au niveau de comment faire partager les revenus, tout ça. Est-ce que le revenu du centre de tri sera la même de ce qu'ils sont en train de gagner dans la nouvelle décharge? Donc, tout ça, on va essayer de le régler petit à petit. Comme j'ai dit on a l'obligation d'assurer l'accompagnement de ces gens, que ce soit un accompagnement technique et l'accompagnement, bien sûr, social. Aussi, je vais intervenir dans un autre volet, c'est le volet de tri. Donc, le tri, nous, on est dans la dernière année de contrat de gestion déléguée avec le délégataire qui assure maintenant la collecte au niveau de la ville de Tétouan. L'année prochaine, on va lancer un autre appel d'offres. Et bien sûr, les décideurs ont proposé d'intégrer le tri à la source dans les nouveaux documents d'appel d'offres. Donc, bien sûr, on ne peut pas faire ça directement. Donc, on a passé par des études. Premièrement, en 2019, on a réalisé une étude pour l'instauration de systèmes de tri à la source. Au niveau, on n'a pas fait la totalité de la ville. On a choisi quelques quartiers de la ville, surtout les quartiers organisés et les quartiers un peu où il y a des gens qui vivent, les quartiers de moyens et haut standing. Donc, on a choisi 3 quartiers. Dans chaque secteur, on a divisé la ville en 2 secteurs. On a choisi 3 quartiers de chaque secteur. On a essayé de faire une étude pour l'instauration de tri à la source. Donc, bien sûr, on a commencé par diagnostic, par des questionnaires, l'opportunité. Donc, on a essayé, on a essayé que l'étude soit générale. Et aussi, on a réalisé dans cette étude l'enquête auprès des chiffonniers qui font le tri informel au niveau des bacs à ordures. Donc, on a fait le recensement de ces chiffonniers, on a essayé de les écouter, de savoir leur opinion au niveau de l'insertion dans le cadre de ce projet. Donc, après la réalisation de l'étude et l'adoption de l'étude par le bureau municipal, on a passé à une expérience pilote d'instaurer le tri dans le centre-ville de la ville de Tétouan. Donc, on a essayé de faire les équipements nécessaires pour voir comment ça marche, le tri au niveau. Donc, on a opté pour 3 fractions, donc la fraction organique, la fraction inorganique et le pain. Donc, on a fait 3 caissons pour chaque type de déchets, pour savoir comment la population va réagir avec le nouveau système de collecte pour prendre une idée générale avant de mettre ça dans les documents contractuels. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup. Très intéressante, notamment cette dernière intervention sur la préparation d'un plan avec la sélection des fractions sur la base d'une consultation et la sélection de quartiers pilotes pour commencer progressivement à mettre en place et à tester l'approche qui va être développée. Merci encore pour cette intervention. Est-ce que d'autres participants de notre groupe souhaitent prendre la parole pour faire un témoignage complémentaire sur leur expérience avant que nous passions la parole à l'autre groupe? Apparemment, je pense que c'est tout pour l'instant. Donc, je propose que Rema, Sergio, you take now the floor and take back the discussion to your own group.
Okay. Gemma, it's okay if we follow the same approach? I will share the screen with the notes, and then I will give the floor to the participants in our group. Is that okay?
For me, it's perfect.
Okay. Well, Francesco, feel free to interrupt me if I miss something, and even the participants, if you see something I'm saying is not the same as you said, or I registered it badly. So we first took a list of the main issues we could identify from the case study, that in this case was littering, containers overflow, lack of sorting and separate collection, landfill with no capacity plus dump sites around the city, no recycling, and the need for a plan for sorting and recycling, no waste collection charges for citizens and companies, limiting the financial ability of the municipality in order to implement any kind of waste management project. Awareness was needed since population was not familiar with separate collection. People's perception on waste as a resource, it was in this context of no separate collection might be something to take into account, having waste as a resource instead of as a burden. The absence, which is something I guess it's new from the other group, the absence of data on waste management, it was not directly written in the case, but it tends to be the case in this type of case study, and the need for cooperation with the private sector. We've been talking about through several solutions and several ways of approaching this case study, and we have been talking about implementing municipal waste charges for households and some kind of contracts or charges or something, some figure in order to raise some funds for waste management. We have been talking about the possibility of implementing door-to-door collection, and it has been quite interesting in this point because the participants have suggested that this kind of collection, which is not the most common in general in other countries, it has the advantage of being able to charge the people directly when you collect the waste, which has been something innovative, I guess. It has been raised that organic matter has to be prioritized since this is the main waste stream in this case, and that collection and treatment of organic matter has to be prioritized. We have been talking about waste pickers, chiffoniers as an element, as a part of the system that has to be integrated within the system. Something that is also interesting is the need for data in order to make a waste management plan and to communicate any advance or any step further in the plan. If we want to know where are we and what is the baseline and how are we advancing, we need some data. We have also talked about the necessity of having an awareness campaign, communication, educational programs, and the need for communicating progress once the plan is in place and what are the contributions the citizens are making to this plan in order to make them feel involved and that the plan is working. There has been also a reflection on the need for regulation for forcing people to source separation. Another transversal ideas we have in sharing is that perhaps public acceptance on waste management might need this kind of transition period to get consensus. As you were saying in the French group, you might need to test and survey the the population in order to fit and find the best approach for waste management. It's not something that is going to happen overnight. So this idea of transition towards a new model is quite interesting as well. The implementation has to be progressive. It has not happened overnight again. Something that I have detected from the discussion we were having is that there is obvious dependency between tasks, issues, and solutions, and that some things have to happen prior to others, and some depends on how other perform, so it has to be taken into account in advance. Also, the idea of having a financial equilibrium between actions, results, and all the picture, that all the actions and tasks involving this kind of waste management plan has to maintain some kind of financial equilibrium. And also, one last issue we've been talking about is that according to the leadership issues, for example, in terms of governance and how different scales relate to each other, municipal, national, etc., thinking about community-based solutions can be a good approach in order to avoid this kind of misfit between municipal administrative levels and other levels, and some, like, for example, national or regional ones. So this has been the main ideas I have jotted down, and now I would like to give the floor to any of the participants if you want to share anything, or Francesco, if you want to share some thoughts first.
No, thanks, Sergio. It was pretty extensive and covering what we discussed. Maybe now I would just invite participants of the group. Maybe we can start with Jessie Ferreira-Santayun with the very interesting angles of relationship with the citizens and how complex is the puzzle to be built, and how it needs different kind of local, the private or stakeholders or civil society organization. Jessie?
Yes, I didn't have the chance to share our experience. There have been an attempt to raise awareness and towards sorting from source, and different bins have been distributed. And there are two factories or hangars where more sorting and compaction are being done. But we haven't reached a decent result, although it has been 5 years now. But more money and awareness are needed. And we face another problem, and that is the accumulation of compacted recyclables. And we're not able to sell all the compacted recyclables from those factories. So this is a problem we need to solve as well. We didn't discuss this. If someone has something to say about it.
I don't know.
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you. Sorry, I think there is no further comment. Perhaps we can invite other participants to the floor in order to share any other thoughts on that.
So we are trying to...
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. I was saying that we are trying to be consistent about the implementation of action, but it's taking time, and that's why Mr. Ghassan talked about the transition, the importance of transition to reach best results.
Thank you, Jessie. So Gemma, you were about to say something?
Yeah, no, I was wondering about this problem that Jessie was saying, about all these compacted fraction, well, already recyclable fraction, if you had seen a similar problem in the past, Sergio, or any other experts?
I mean, having an accumulation of recyclables, you mean?
I mean, plastics or detailed sorting of plastics or metals or cardboards are being sterilized and compacted, but there are no buyers, you know, the chain is not being progressive. So.
Yes, we have the same problem, in fact, in Spain. After the China ban for plastics, for example, we were used to export a lot of recyclable plastic to Asian countries, for example. And since China banned the imports of plastics, we're having exactly that problem, having stores, plenty of plastics, textiles, and paper. We are having like, I don't know, one fire every month of this kind of materials, because somehow, I mean, it's illegal for sure, and somehow they are not finding anybody in the market to process these sorted materials, which is, again, a misfit between collection and treatment, and sometimes there is illegal activity as well. But it's a quite good illustration, and we have exactly the same in Spain these days. Yesterday, there was a big fire in Madrid in a plastic and paper facility. And I don't know how many tons of plastic and paper that were sick to be recycled have been burned. So yeah, we have similar problems here. Any other of the participants want to share their thoughts, or we can?
If you let me give
sure.
More comments, yes. We are out of time, as we was discussing the Macondo's study case. I had a comment or idea that moment. Maybe it's time to share it with you. It comes to my mind that there in this study case, or this city, have an official collectors and an official landfills. I think we can assume that this city has an economic shortage. I think they need cheap solutions, and in the same time environment-friendly solutions, of course. Maybe one of these solutions may be incineration, burning the solid waste. I think all we know that there is modern incinerations that are environment friendly. They treat solid or burning solid waste, and you just the output of this burning is just what it's called a dust. It's like environment dust. So I know that some countries use this dust or throw it in the lakes. It's completely safe to the environment. Maybe this is a cheap solution to do it with in some cities that have a short in economic. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I would say two short things about incineration now. And the first is not cheap. It's never cheap. And it's not a solution for anybody. So I mean, this case can be illustrated with a lot of cases. I can provide the case of Mallorca in Spain, for example. But an incinerator, if you want to do proper incinerator, is quite expensive, because technology for incineration with, let's say, reduced environmental consequences, it's quite expensive. And in the end, you will have the same problem of disposing the rest of incineration as well. I think cities like the one we wanted to illustrate in this case study precisely have the opportunity to avoid this kind of path dependency on technologies that have resulted into expensive and non-environmentally satisfactory solutions, and they have now the opportunity of doing things differently. So I guess before considering incineration for waste management, which seems something quick and readily available for everybody, I would say if you don't have money, the last thing you will consider is having an incinerator. This is the case, for example, we will provide you with some case studies for MedCities. One of them is the case of Naples. And Naples had a very strong misfit between collection and treatment, and they had to build this incinerator because they hadn't time or space for other types of infrastructure. So I would say that if you have the opportunity to skip incineration in your treatment strategy, it's going to be, it sounds like a better idea if you can skip it. I don't know if my fellows from ACL Plus can provide some further thoughts. I think we will be in line, but
if I may, yeah, incineration indeed is not cheap. Maybe it was cheap some years ago, but if you want to have a proper plant with the proper cleaning of gas, it's now very, very expensive actually. And one of the main issues with incineration is that it locks, like if you do this capacity, then you have to feed it this capacity, meaning if you want the incinerator to treat 100,000 tons per year, then you have to feed it 100,000 tons per year. And the issue is that if you design it wrong, then it will block any other strategy of recovery, prevention. So I would not say do not consider it, but it's not as cheap as it can look, and it's a long-term decision, meaning that when you build an incinerator, you have to you have to pay for it for 20 to 30 years, and over this period, you will need to treat the quantity for which it was designed. So it's really, yeah, you have to consider it with much care, I would say. And indeed, we've got lots of examples across Europe of overcapacities and issues like that with regions importing waste to feed their incinerators. And probably the other part, and then I'm done with incineration, is it might be an okay solution if you want to produce heat, but to produce electricity is not really worth it, actually. It's not really interesting.
Okay, so according to the time, Gemma, I think it might be time to be wrapping up and talking a little bit about the mentoring process.
Yeah, well, before, if anyone wants to say anything before I start explaining about the mentoring process, anyone has any final question or thought? If not, I will put here some links I put in the chat. The first link that I'm sending you right now is the evaluation form for the first part of this training module, so the 3 sessions that you have attended to. And then this second form is about the mentoring, which I'm going to explain you now. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, Gemma?
Here, yeah?
Before you show the mentoring thing, I would like to add a couple of phrases we were talking about before. I would like to say that even if you said in the French-speaking group that some cities were feeling like close to this case study of Macondo. So if you're feeling close to Macondo's case study, I would say that you still have a great opportunity to skip some of the failures we have suffered in other regions in the Mediterranean. And you have the opportunity to make your own path towards waste management and towards different systems. And they might not be invented and they might be new, and you can come up with different solutions. And you have a great opportunity, particularly with track pickers and with some elements we have in other cities of the Mediterranean, we have excluded from our system, like, I don't know, from the beginning. You still have the opportunity to do something creative and something that works in a decarbonized context. I mean, you don't need tons of tracks and a very sophisticated system. You still have that opportunity of being creative and building up something different and something new and something that can be even embodied and then replicated in other cities in the Med. So if you feel close to Macondo, feel that you have an opportunity to develop this kind of system as well.
Thank you, Sergio. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. Can you see it? Yes, okay. Can you see it now in full screen? Perfect, okay. So, well, as you know, I'm going to explain you now very briefly about the mentoring section of this solid waste management training module. Don't worry, because you will receive also all the information in your email tomorrow. So this is just so that you know. So, well, I'm going to go through the objectives, the calendar, how to apply, and then if you have any questions, you can ask them. So the objectives of this mentoring section are to accompany the 3 municipalities that will go through the mentoring process and provide advice to have a diagnosis of the current state of the situation in each municipality, to see which challenges, well, you already know which challenges do you have, but to see which possible solutions we can find together to these challenges. And then from these possible solutions, select one realistic and time-bound priority action. And then from here, prepare a concept note so that the municipality has direction towards the implementation of the selected priority. And yeah, that's it. This concept note, the idea is that it will serve as a guide for municipalities and also as a document to further develop the project for other funding opportunities. So that, for example, if there is like a call for projects so that you can further develop it, but you also already have like an embryo of an idea, or also maybe for donors, so that you can have a realistic and studied project. The idea is that this will be done through a series of diagnostic interviews between the municipalities and the experts that you already met during these days. Then the municipalities will write a priorities document guided by the mentor, but it will be them who will write it. And then together with the mentor, you will revise these priorities and select one, and then develop this concept note that I was talking about. So the idea is that the municipalities during this mentorship, they will have a high involvement with the mentors. They will have to gather some information from the municipality, maybe from other departments. So, yeah. So when does this start? The application process will start now. At the end of this third session, and then it will be open 3 weeks, until 3 weeks. Then we will start the applications. We will select together with the experts 3 municipalities, and then the actual mentoring process will be during 2 months, so between the end of May and the end of July. How can you apply? You have received this questionnaire in the chat, which I will send you again tomorrow in the email I was telling you about. So in these questionnaires, there are some questions about the municipality, the characteristics of the municipality, also about the person who applies, the team that would be in touch with the mentor, and so on. And then you also need to attach a letter of interest. This letter has to be signed by a political representative, and it has to make some statements, which are to say how will the mentoring process benefit the municipality, to express the commitment to allocate the human resources that are needed to undergo this mentoring process, and specify at least 2 members of the technical team who will participate in this mentoring section. That's all. Thank you. I don't know, I'm going to stop sharing, and if you have any question. No questions? Okay, you will anyway receive all the information in your email. And also, you will also receive these evaluation forms, which we will be very happy to know your opinion, not only on the training itself, but also to see how do you think it for future trainings, how it could be more, what could be more useful, or any recommendations, topics that you liked. Any thoughts will be helpful for us for the future, for sure. So if there are no questions or comments, yes? Hello? I'm not sure. There is Suat. I don't know if you are unmuted because you want to make a question.
No.
We cannot hear you.
Non, c'est clair, j'ai pas de questions.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Mr. Hassan? No questions?
No, I'm good. We received already the invitation, if I may say so, for the first
yeah, that one was
session. I mean, first mentoring concept. I think it's similar except for the thematics, if
exactly.
I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And
yes,
we have already discussed it, and I think we will be candidates.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Those of you who also participate in the other training modules, well, in the environmental management training module, you will have received an application form and the evaluation form for that module, which is different from this other one. You can apply to as many as you want. So if you want to apply for both, you can. Also, the sessions that will be available on April, which are energy and mobility, also will have a mentoring section, and you can also apply. We will try to to make as broad as possible so that as much municipalities benefit from mentoring. But of course, you can apply to all of them if you want. And we encourage you to apply. We would like to see you there. They are asking if we will send the videos. For now, it's not the idea. Maybe in the future we will put them available. What we will send you, and what we have already sent you, are the slides. So let me know if you didn't receive them, because I will send them back to you. And also, if in the future we make available the videos, we will also let you know. So I would say if anyone, no one has any other questions, we can leave it here. I would like to thank very much all the participants, also all the experts, and also all the simultaneous translators. And I hope to see you in the mentoring section.
Thank you very much, Gemma, for hosting this nice session.
Merci beaucoup pour la MedCities et pour la ACR+. Merci beaucoup.
Merci à tout le monde. Merci. À bientôt.
Thank you.
Merci à tous. Au revoir.